If you believe that we're long overdue for significant gun control, you're probably feeling pretty good right now if you just listen to what politicians are saying, because pretty much everybody is implying that now that Congress is back in session, it's finally gonna happen. The White House is supposed to put out their gun policy proposals this week. Even Mitch McConnell may be interested in doing something, and the Democrats are coming in guns blazing, I guess is the expression, to do something. And in fact, they just released a new PSA through the Giffords Courage to Fight Gun Violence organization. Let's take a look.
Gun violence is literally life and death.
That has become so numbingly common.
That we have kids going to school wondering if they're going to be physically safe.
Learning about how to duck, cover, hide.
For fear that there is a mass shooter roaming the hallways of their school.
That's wrong. That shouldn't happen in a country like ours.
That's a tragic reality that exists today.
And it's deep, it's serious, and it's wrong what's going on.
So we cannot allow this to be inevitable or to be the expectation that we set for our kids.
The children who are sitting in those classrooms afraid and in terror could care less about whether we are Democrats or Republicans.
We have accepted the unacceptable for too long.
And we're gonna stand up and we're gonna fight.
Insist, demand, use the strongest possible terms.
Push and push and push.
With every fiber in our being.
With the urgency and the solutions.
So that parents and teachers and kids don't have to worry about this.
The time has now come.
Doing nothing is not acceptable.
It is time for action.
We have to act in a bold way.
Save thousands of lives.
This will be a moment of determination to change.
Okay, so
problem solved, guys.
I think so. Well, look, they're trying to have a front, like against this thing. Oh, by the way, because I know people are gonna be like, well, why isn't my favorite candidate in that video? According to the Giffords organization, they invited all the candidates. Those are the ones that are in it. I'm sure it's schedule and stuff like that, but they were all invited supposedly. Don't at me. But anyway, look, since the last Congress was last in session. Back on August 2nd, there have been at least 3 mass shootings under one definition that have killed 38 people and injured many more. Okay, so with that context, everybody's saying something is going to happen. Emma Vigeland, is anything going to happen?
It's hard to be not cynical about that. And I'm happy that all of those candidates participated, but did we not realize that all of the candidates are united in wanting to change and want gun control on the Democratic side? Why are we pretending like it's otherwise? Every Democrat, except with the exception of Dan Lipinski, wants gun control, right? We have
maybe Henry Cuellar.
Okay, maybe, right. We have a united front on this issue. Mitch McConnell and Trump are the problems here. And Mitch McConnell says, I'm not going to act unless Donald Trump gives the approval for the exact kind of gun control bill I will put through the Senate, which means you don't really understand what the Constitution is, Mitch McConnell, because the legislature is supposed to come up with the laws and then the president signs off on them, but he's such a bootlicker that this is the route that he's decided to go down.
And by the way, so I'm gonna sketch out a scenario that will never happen. I will sprout fairy wings and fly off before this actually happens, but think about how strong of a signal it would be to the country, to their constituents, that they care about this. If Mitch McConnell was like, look, I'm not gonna ban the assault weapons, I'm not gonna confiscate guns, but we need full background checks. We're gonna do that. We're gonna send it to Trump, and when he vetoes it, because he's under the boot of the NRA, and he's a little whiny baby when it comes to that, we're gonna override his veto because we definitely have the votes to do that on milquetoast gun control legislation. He would never do that, but they could do it. They could get 66 votes.
But that would require him having a semblance of courage, and also the fact that the Republican voters who are going to probably vote him through again in 2020 love Trump. So Trump is popular in Kentucky. Mitch McConnell is the senator from Kentucky. That's why Amy McGrath, the Democrat who's she's not yet won the nomination to take on Mitch McConnell, but why she's saying that she's a pro-Trump Democrat. He's very popular in Kentucky.
She said that she's a pro-Trump Democrat?
Oh, well, no, she's basically, the overall philosophy was that Mitch McConnell is the reason Trump isn't able to drain the swamp, and that's why he's the one getting in the way of what Trump wants to do. And if you put me in office, yeah, it's a great strategy. It's a great strategy. I know, it hurts. I'll show you the video after this.
Is she the candidate that someone asked for a platform and she's like, I'll get back to you on that?
Yep.
Oh, Mitch McConnell's gonna be there for 100 more years.
I know, but there is I'm forgetting the name of it, but there is a radio host who's actually like primarying him to, or he's in the Democratic primary. So let's root for him.
And by the way, let's just take note of how perfect it is in a sick way that when the threat is more Americans being gunned down, more kids in particular being gunned down, the person stopping them from being protected likes to think of himself as the Grim Reaper. That's sort of perfect, isn't it? Now, supposedly, according to Republican sources close to McConnell, he sees a political benefit to moving a bipartisan measure in response to a spate of mass shootings this year. And he acknowledged the politics surrounding expanded background checks have shifted in recent months. They were hurt in suburbs, in 2018. So supposedly, maybe something will happen. Well, Donald Trump doesn't seem to want any change to background checks. Let's also know what a just amoral, cowardly thing to say. We could do these background checks and stop. Like the last mass shooting was literally a result of a flaw, a loophole in the background checks. I see a political benefit to that, not a moral benefit, a benefit to protecting American lives. I see a political benefit in the suburbs in the next election.
Fitting for the Grim Reaper.
Exactly. So I assume we're sort of agreed that we don't have high hopes at this point.
Are you kidding me? We work in this industry. How could we have high hopes?
Exactly. Yeah, it's sad because I agree with all of those faces you saw in that video. It is time for action, and that action is getting Mitch McConnell and other Republicans out of office so we can actually do something about this and other challenges. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.